Hello, it's Alex. Welcome to my channel. Sorry I've been away for a few weeks. Mother-in-law's been really poorly and I've been very involved in looking after her and helping to get her some care. Anyway, this is pretty much my first day having time away from all of that. She's nice and happy and some respite care. And I thought I would come and talk to you because I've got so many things to show you and to talk to you about. And rather than trying to have any kind of semblance of order, I just thought I'd come and make a video showing you all the bits and pieces. And there'll be another video coming up soon, which is about trousers. Anyway, I'm going to talk to you about some things I've made, and the first one I'm wearing now is the Weiland Tank from Elbe Textiles. So Lauren, who runs Elbe Textiles, did a bit of a teaser that she was planning this pattern a few weeks ago, 6 weeks ago, something like that. And I absolutely jumped for joy because sort of about this time last year, I noticed quite a lot of tops that had quite a lowish neckline, either scooped or a V, quite often in a ribbed jersey. And I really liked the shape of them, people wearing them under blazers or as tops in their own right or under shirts. And I just thought they looked fabulous. And I'm not immune to going and buying things from the shops, but every single one of them was cropped, and by cropped I mean this cropped, and that's just not for me. So I took to the internet, as you do when you can sew your own clothes, and I looked for a sewing pattern just like it. Couldn't find anything at all out there. So when Lauren was teasing hers, I was, as I said, over the moon, really excited. So I was also very lucky enough, I must have mithered her enough on Instagram, to be chosen as one of her pattern testers. She is one of the very few sewing pattern companies, well, there are an increasing number of sewing pattern companies who pay their sewing pattern testers. I would say, I'm sure she would agree with this, it's a contribution towards the materials rather than strictly paying for you, but I do just want to be clear about that. Not in return for any blog posts or YouTube or anything like that, but just for your time. So I just thought, the pattern has now been released, I just thought that I would show you the ones I made because I made more than one. Comes as a cropped tank, two necklines. One is a scoop, which is what this is, and one is a V, which is my favourite, and I'll show you that in a minute. This is the length of the pattern as it comes, but most of the others that I've made I added to. And in fact, when I tested this, I said to her I would want it longer. And it just so happens that the day I was doing the testing, I was wearing these trousers, which are high-waisted. And when I put it on, I thought, do you know what? I think that much as, my assumption was, just walk into the painting. As much as my assumption was that it would be too short or too cropped for me, actually with the high-waisted trousers, I really like how it looks. It's quite important that you choose a 4-way stretch fabric. So this is my beloved, you'll have heard me talk about it before, Faux Angora fabric, which looks like a knit but is in fact just a jersey. And it has got 4-way stretch, so it's stretching that way and that way. Obviously much greater stretch across the width. And this one is 90% stretched widthways, and I think something like 40% lengthways. And Lauren says in her instructions that you really need, I think it's 40% stretch as a minimum. It does have to be 2-way. And it's important to get a fabric with good recovery. There is also the option, if you want to include elastic under the sleeves and around the neck, just to keep it, fitting nice and close. With this one, I didn't have to use the elastic, and all versions have a built-in shelf bra. So this one, I'm going to flash it at you. This one I use, so this is an offcut I had left over from something else, and I've used the same fabric inside, it's just a different colour. So it is a charcoal grey, and a bit of elastic. I stupidly joined mine at the front. Not the most beautiful, anyway. Now I am wearing a bra under mine, it's just habit, but you certainly don't need to, and I know from my daughters that younger women are wearing bras less and less. My daughter said to me, "Why would you, Mum? They're really uncomfortable." And I thought she's got a good point, really. Habit. So perfect if you don't want to wear a bra, or you don't want to have to worry about potentially straps revealing themselves and all of that, and lovely and comfortable to wear lounging around at home. And then, strangely enough, I went to my wardrobe and thought, what did I make in that same green colour? And as luck would have it, I think the two things go really well, because what I'd made quite a while ago now is this Juniper cardigan. It's a Jennifer Lauren handmade pattern, and it's also cropped. So don't you think, I mean, honestly, this wasn't planned, but don't you think these two work really well together? I think it's actually really good. And I think it's pretty flattering. She provides 2 sets of instructions for how to deal with all of these seams being enclosed. One is a sort of 2-step version, and the other is a burrito. You know, I'm a big fan of a burrito for an enclosed yoke on a shirt, and I've got a video tutorial of how to do that. If anyone's interested in me doing a sort of follow-up video of how to do a burrito for enclosing a facing, an all-in-one facing on a sleeveless top like this, let me know, because I would love to do that actually, because I do think it gives a nice, really good finish. Then I popped off to my local fabric shop and found this fabric, which was something like £4 a metre, so cheap as chips. But this one is exactly what I meant when I was talking about the tops I was looking for last year, in that it's kind of ribbed. And this one I've added some length to, and is also the V-neck. It's got a similar amount of stretch and was dead easy to sew again. So it's got the shelf, I'll show you on the inside, same fabric on the inside for the shelf bra. And there is an option if you want to use power mesh on the inside. So I did that just to see how it would work, really. Okay, so as I said, this is the lengthened version. I added about 15 centimetres length, and I did add a little bit more width and then curve up to the waist, because obviously your hips are wider than your waist. And this is the V-neck. It's also V at the back, and you can mix and match. So if you wanted scoop back, V at the front, or vice versa, that's really easy to do with this pattern. And yeah, really like this one. They take about an hour to sew once you've cut the pattern pieces out. So then I also made one in a ponte. Now ponte is not as stretchy. This is one of the cropped ones. So I think, hold on, what do my notes say? Right, so 50% stretch widthways, about 30 lengthways. So this one, being not as stretchy as the other two, does feel a bit tighter, and I feel a little bit more sort of wrapped up in it. It's fine, but probably if I was going to make one in a ponte, I don't know that I'd size up. I might just kind of cheat the seam allowance or something, just add a little bit extra, or maybe I'd size up depending. And obviously this is a cropped one again. And then I've made one in a jersey. So I'm just showing you the lining, because this is a white or an off-white. So I used a sort of skin tone-ish interlock for the shelf bra on the inside, and a nude elastic. You kind of don't want the fabric you use for the shelf bra to be too lightweight. So I think that this viscose jersey that I've used for the outer would probably not be stable enough to be suitable for the lining or for the shelf bra, and that's where the power mesh comes in, or something more stable like a ponte or the interlock. I've gone with the V again because I really like the V. Okay, so yeah, this fabric, this jersey fabric, I bought from Bornella Fabrics. I did show you actually, a little while ago just because I really liked the print, didn't know what I was going to make with it. And I really like this. I think it's the sort of thing I'll wear with skirts and shorts over the summer, well, trousers, everything. So I'm really happy with this one. But it is a little bit tighter than the ones that had greater stretch, but I still am quite happy with the fit. This is a size E. Yeah, I've kept with the V neckline because I really like this shape of V where it's not a super angular one, it's got a slight curve. And I know lots of us are not that confident about having our arms out, but I've decided to just not care. You know, I'm 54, what do you expect? Just in case you're interested, I'll show you the one that didn't work too well. I saw this fabric on the Fabworks website and I thought this is absolutely perfect. I love green and I really wanted a ribbed one, ribbed cotton jersey. It's coming up super bright on my camera, but it's more of a grassy green. It's got 60% stretch widthways, so I thought it would be perfect. I didn't have quite enough to do the whole of the bra section in the green. So one half has got the green and the other has got an offcut from the polo dress I made that I showed on my last video. Now this fabric, this offcut of this, is from Minerva. Similar amount of stretch, looks very similar, quite a big difference in the price. I think this Minerva one's about £15 a metre and this Fabworks one was £5 a metre. But if I'd had this Minerva fabric, this one would have been a success. But this doesn't work so well, and the reason is that whilst it's got the amount of stretch, the recovery is very, very poor. So when you stretch it out, it doesn't bounce back. So hopefully the camera will pick this up. So this is the side with the elastic in, which is as good as it's going to get. The neckline has elastic in, but it's still not great. And then this side, no elastic, and as you can see, it's exactly the same pattern pieces, everything's identical. This is just not sitting very nicely. So love the pattern. I'm a great fan of Elbe Textiles. I think Lauren does inclusivity in the sewing community brilliantly. She's got a really great aesthetic. Everyone on her website, on her patterns, looks really cool. She does kind of over 50 visibility, which is, I guess, as you know, my thing. She does it really brilliantly. You know, we're not sitting there like little old ladies or little old men. I think this is a fabulous pattern. I know I pattern tested for it. I know I'm raving about it, but that's because I love it. But yeah, just don't get fabric. Don't buy the £5 a metre fabric that's, you know, this is not bouncing back and it's not working. So I really want to take it off. So I've had to have a bit of a change of plan. We are going to a wedding in a few weeks' time that is abroad, somewhere nice and warm. And our plan was to go to the wedding and then to have a holiday after, stay for a week or so. And now, unfortunately, because Dave's mum isn't fantastic, it looks like we're going to have to cancel the holiday part of that trip. So, but we are still going to go to the wedding. So what I thought I was going to be doing and what I'd been thinking about for the last few weeks is sewing a holiday wardrobe. But now we're just going for 2 days, 3 days, something like that. But I do need to sew my dress to go to the wedding. And I've been thinking about all sorts of things. Now, one of the things I'm definitely going to be sewing, which is not a dress to wear for the wedding itself, but just I think will be a lovely trip for wearing on holiday in general, is the Halam dress from Paradise Patterns. It's a beautiful, beautiful dress. It's got this really lovely deep back. Couple of different versions, but I really like the one with a gathering around the back. It does have a fairly high-ish neck, well, I mean not a polo neck obviously, but a fairly high-ish neck, and I think I will hack it to make that a little bit lower. And I've also seen that somebody has done a blog piece, can't remember where, but I've seen it somewhere, to incorporate, a bit like this top, to incorporate a shelf bra in it as well, because being backless, you're going to be hard pushed to find a bra to fit under it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it with shelf bra, a little bit of a lower neck, and I know exactly the fabric I'm going to make it in. Now, I don't know if you are aware, but Minerva have just announced that they are launching their own line of Minerva designed fabrics, patterns that are designed specifically for them. And those of us that do patterns, not pattern testing, fabric testing, I guess, you know, blog posts for them, were offered the opportunity to try some of these fabrics out. Now, it hasn't arrived yet. We pre-ordered a version that is called, I think it's called Bumble Garden. It's got bees on it. If you're not in the UK, you won't know this, but Manchester, where I live, is very associated with a bee. It's the Manchester bee or the Manchester worker bee. So in this part of the world, we feel a real affinity to bees. This fabric is not in my usual kind of colours at all. Normally I go for colours that are very warm, but I just couldn't resist it. And I think that this Halam dress in that lovely viscose fabric is going to look fabulous. But yeah, when that comes, that will be gifted fabric. Hasn't arrived yet. So that's definitely on the cards. So then I've been thinking about the dress that I'm going to wear for the wedding itself. And I've got two options and I'm not sure which way to go. So one option was the Calvin wrap dress by, is that True Bias or Paper Theory? I'll put a title. And I had this pretty vibrant pink linen in my stash. I have no idea where it came from. It could have been there for years for all I know. I've no idea. But I thought if I did the top, it would give me a good idea of the fit and help me decide whether I like it or not. So I'll put it on in a sec. It is one where you do the loops, what are they called? Not loops, and sliders like you get on a bra strap. So unlike my biased top that I wore on my last video where the straps kept falling down, this shouldn't be so bad. And thank you very much everybody who said, huge numbers of you said the problem with that pattern is that the shoulder straps were way too close to my shoulders. So really on that particular top, the only way to save it is to redo the straps and crisscross them at the back, which is exactly what I'm going to do. But in future, for any patterns like that, I need to either redraft it or look at ones where the shoulder straps are further in. So if anyone else is having that problem continually, that's where I was going wrong. So thank you very much for every single person who let me know that. Yeah, I can't believe I'm doing pink again, but it's that same super vibrant pink that I had on that stripy t-shirt that I made recently. And yeah, I'm kind of enjoying it really. Okay, so I like it. There's a couple of niggles on the fit, but I think that that's my fault. I made a size, I think this is a size 12, but did my usual thing of blending up at the waist. And I think that actually that was a mistake because I've got a kind of slightly strange bagginess here. And then when I had a look at the measurements, I re-measured myself just yesterday, and I have actually, my measurements have changed. Not a massive amount, but they have slightly changed, and I've lost about 3 centimetres around my waist. You know, that's going to the gym, getting used to it now, not as achy. So yes, I think I might tweak some of the measurements a little bit, just around the bust. But I do like it. Bit of a pain bra-wise, as luck would have it, I found that I had a pink bra, more or less the same colour, but I don't like how that looks with the bra straps, and as discussed earlier. I could of course wear it without one, but I won't. So I'd have to have a think about it in terms of bra straps. Really nice pattern. To be honest, comes together really nice and easily once you've made all the bias, because you're making this out of the same fabric, and that is kind of a bit, I was going to say it's a bit boring, but I think it's one of those where put an audio book on, or you know, something to watch while you're doing it, and it, you know, it's just, yeah, it's just not the most exciting thing to do, to make bias tape. But once you've done that, the rest of it comes together really nice and easily, nice and quick, fabulous instructions. Yeah, it's a nice one to do. But I'm all right with it. I'm not 100%. But I have decided to make those tweaks, and I've started to make it. I've got an offcut here because I haven't only started it a couple of days ago, because I've only had the odd hour here and there to do any sewing. But I've started making it out of this fabric that I bought from Simply Fabric. It's some kind of designer Deadstock. Yeah, I really like it. It's got a slight sheen to it, which I'm not sure you're necessarily going to see, but I kind of feel like that's weddingy. So that's something I'm literally in the middle of making. At the same time, I ordered a couple of patterns from the Foldline, Big 4 patterns, not indies. One of them is this one here, which is McCall's M105, which I guess is an alternative. It's a wrap again, but this one has a sort of ruched 2 ties at the front that go round to the back into a big bow, and I am not a big bow person at all. So if I made it, I wouldn't do that. I'd have the 2 ties at the front and then have it going into the side seam. I wouldn't have the bow at all. So I'd have to toile it. But I'm going to see how I get on with this and a Calvin wrap before I attempt this. But this is plan B. I'm also going to have to think about bra straps. I don't know. And then the other thing I got from the Foldline, with summer dresses in mind, slightly thinking holiday-ish, but also here, is this one, which is New Look 6889, which is a really simple summer dress, dead easy to sew, but I particularly liked, comes in a couple of versions, I particularly like the version which is version A, where it's a V-neck, but it has like, well, they call them knots, but little loops that go over the straps that give you almost like a bit of a sweetheart neckline, and I really like that. So I've made one out of, it's pink again, don't know what's happened to me, out of this cotton poplin fabric, from a company that is called So Totally Me. I hadn't seen them before, came across them on Instagram. They said they were having a sale, fabric company sale. I'm always going to click through. And the prices are phenomenal. I think this was something like £2.50 per half a metre. I actually ordered quite a few bits and pieces from them. And they also do labels, so I ordered a little pack of labels. The only thing that I did differently is I did put some inseam pockets in. It only comes with a patch pocket. But yeah, I'll put it on and show you. Okay, so I'm really happy with this. I think it makes for a really nice, yeah, simple, not sure I'd necessarily wear it with trainers, but anyway. Really nice simple summer dress. I did, even though the pattern is smallish, I did make pattern match at the very front, because even though it's 2 front pieces and 2 back pieces with a centre seam, it's not a straight down, it's not on a straight line. The front kind of flares out. Not demonstrating that very beautifully, but the pattern piece is sort of straight and then out like that, giving you the sort of swishiness. So impossible to do it all the way down, but I just thought that very centre front at the bottom of the V could be a bit distracting if it was just off. So I pattern match that. In a viscose it would be even more sort of swishy. Definitely need inseam pockets. I don't know why they only did it with patch pockets. But yeah, really, really quick and easy to do. It is one where the sleeves and the neckline are bound with bias binding, but if you didn't like that, you could always draft a facing and then do the double-sided burrito, like with the tank at the beginning, if you just didn't like bias binding. But could you do that? Yeah, you could actually, with the V. Might be a different way of approaching it. But yeah, I really like this. I think this is a great little pattern. I didn't choose my size based on the sizing on the back of the envelope at all. I'm still a bit nervous about the amount of ease there is in the big 4. So I would have been a size 16 and I actually made a size 12. So I think a size 16, 2 sizes bigger than this, would have absolutely drowned me. So what I did was I looked at the finished garment measurements, which are on the individual pattern pieces, not on the envelope. So I looked at those and I literally just went from bust measurement, because obviously the shape of the dress, if the bust fits, the waist and the thighs are going to work as well, unless your waist is bigger than your bust. But mine isn't. So yeah, super easy to sew, nice and quick. Yeah, really good, and I'm really pleased with this fabric. I'm pleased with a bit of a new find for a fabric company, and yeah, you can see me wearing this lots in the summer. But yeah, it's a bit of a mishmash, but these were all the bits and pieces that I'd been sewing up until things changed a few weeks ago with my mother-in-law, and when I've had the odd hour over the last few weeks. My next video is going to be, do you remember, if you followed me before or you watched earlier in the year, I think it was in January, I said that I was looking for a sewing pattern for pull-on trousers that looked a lot like regular, normal, straight leg trousers. I am a big fan of the Itch to Stitch mountain view trousers, but they've got a big wide sort of yoga type yoke at the top, or waistbandy yoke, and I wanted something that looked more like a pair of regular trousers but in fact were pull on, and lots of you came up with suggestions. So my next video will be all those suggestions and the one that I made. And the one that I made I love so much. I have so far made only 3 versions, but I've got plans for more. So I will come and show you all of those next time. And in the meantime, apologies for being away, apologies for the slightly haphazard nature of today's video, and please let me know what you think. Please let me know if you've seen any patterns that you think would make a great wedding guest dress for somewhere nice and warm. It's only in Europe, so I'm not talking about, you know, tropical, but somewhere just nice and warm in the summer, comfortable, yeah, that sort of thing. Anyway, thank you very much. I'll be back really soon with that video, and yeah, thanks for all your support. Bye bye.